this one we're speaking about today. Today, especially, we're here to speak about Recommendation 78. Recommendation 78 speaks about a preferred electoral system that Sierra Leone wants to use in coming elections. And we're looking at two electoral systems: the proportional representative electoral system and the first past the post electoral system. So let me spend some time to tell you where we have come from as we gather here today. So over the past 1 month, we have had series of engagements and conversation, both technical level and at regional level. Before I speak about that, let me just tell you, something that we all need to know. That Sierra Leone currently uses two electoral systems legally in existence as indicated in the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act number 6, 1991. Sections 38 and 38A of the Constitution of Sierra Leone provides for two distinct types of electoral systems in Sierra Leone, i.e. the first past the post in Section 38 and the district block proportional representation in Section 38A. Over the years and during various electoral cycles, both systems have been used interchangeably. Since 1996, these two systems have been used 3 times interchangeably. 1996, 2002, and 2023, we have used the PL system. 2007, 2013, and 2018, we have used the first past the post system. But for the other people that we want to know, what's really in this electoral system, what they talk about? They say, now system what will they use? Where they translate political power, they determine votes cast, counted, and translated into political power. But then what they talk about. The system will mean say now a framework where they determine how votes and then they cast, counted, and translated into political power. So this system in procedures, regulations, and rules then where they govern the way citizens they exercise their votes then. And for prefer the candidates where they want for either at the seat of presidency or our parliament and local council. Now that's what we talk about. So the relevance of this meeting, what we hold today, the relevance of this meeting is for all key players and stakeholders who are here to understand an in-depth knowledge that constitutes an electoral system. Like I have said to you, these are systems that we have used before. So we are trying to implement Recommendation 78 that says we should create a mechanism that will strengthen our electoral processes in Sierra Leone with the full participation and meaningful contribution of our citizens. And I will take you through that. The objectives are to conduct a critical analysis of the electoral landscape of Sierra Leone and profile plausible recommendations for adoption of an electoral system for future elections, and to develop a roadmap for national consultations and dialogue across the country for citizens' input into deliberations on the choice of electoral system. We have gone across Sierra Leone, as you will see. This gives you basically the targets of people who have met with. In the course of this period, we have had conversation with very close to 2,000 Sierra Leoneans, both in Freetown and today, and across the 5 regions. And we have not just spoken to men and women, we have also brought in our brothers and sisters who are also persons with special needs. So this is one of the consultations that took place. And this is a technical consultation. And this consultation dealt with the electoral management bodies and the security sector. It was a closed-door conversation. And we spent almost a whole day speaking to them because as you look at the tripartite recommendations, the huge number of recommendations goes to the Electoral Commission, PPRC, the Office of National Security, and it speaks about the role they play in the electoral landscape. And so you see that we have had very strong conversations with them, to know what their challenges are, their possibilities associated with two electoral systems, and suggestions on preferred system based on contextual security and electoral management needs. So you can see the picture indicates the meetings that we held with them. The next was leaders of the Interreligious Council, and they're here again today. They have also had conversations with us. It was a very energetic meeting, but I'm sure we'll hear from them as well today. After that, then we had all registered political parties. They are also here today. APA is here, the All People's Congress is here, the Sierra Leone People's Party is here, and all the other registered political parties have been invited. And that's the meeting. And then we had another technical meeting that was a moderated expert panel, where we had two experts, people who knew about the two electoral systems, one international, one local, and then we had 4 discussants, people who had been around these two systems for a very long time. And we took, and then we brought a mix of Sierra Leoneans across Sierra Leone and Freetown, from all walks of life. And that particular technical program was broadcasted live. And that's the picture you're seeing as well. After that, we then went up to the regions for a set of engagements. So you can see that throughout June, we were in Northwest, Putloko, where we brought Karinen Akambia to join Putloko for conversation. We were in Makeni, the Northeast, where we brought Falaba, Kwenadugu, and Tonkolini to meet with Bombali to have conversation. We were in Kenima, also where we brought accountability. We are core of the issues, accountability of political parties, cost of elections, political leaders of the same tribe, same constituency, but different political parties seek to cooperate to promote the interests of people in their constituency. This is where we are today. Our being here is about speaking about Sierra Leone, the seriousness that we want to put in elections in Sierra Leone. And that's why you are all here. We have tried to invite 500 Sierra Leoneans across Sierra Leone to be here today, across all walks of life, including political parties, paramount chiefs, religious leaders, people with special interests, development partners, Sierra Leoneans, young people, students, young, etc., women, so that we speak on this very serious issue once and for all and decide on moving forward. I will stop here and create the environment so that we can hear from our facilitators who have done a marvelous job in putting together a synopsis of what has happened across the country. Thank you very much.
Hills and the valleys re-echo our cry. Blessing and peace be ever thy own. Land that we love, our Sierra Leone. Let's please turn the back and also read the pledge. Read the national pledge together. We go. 1. I pledge my love and loyalty to my country, Sierra Leone. I vow to serve her faithfully at all times. I promise to defend her honor and good name, always work for her unity, peace, freedom, and prosperity, and put her interest above all else. So help me God. Thank you very much. Please let's sit down. This reminds us of our commitments to Sierra Leone. Sierra Leoneans and even those that come to residence in Sierra Leone. This is for us all. So, while I asked that to read this, there are key words here. We put the interests of this country above all else. We stand united, family united, to serve this country. That is what, and we say we love our Sierra Leone. So I truly ask, do we love Sierra Leone? Do we love Sierra Leone? Yes. Who is the Sierra Leone love? And why are we fighting always? So please, okay, sorry. So it's just a reminder of what we pledge to do for this country. And especially for this session, I ask that we put all interests and serve the interests of Sierra Leone. Thank you very much. So we continue with the program as is here, and the people are listed to come and make statements. So I will go according to how it is on the agenda. I therefore have the honor and pleasure to call somebody that is behind this gathering, that is behind the consultation, that is running a very big organization, and they want to see that we do our reforms properly. There's a person, Dr. Idrissa Mahmoud Talawari, to come and give us statement from IDEA International.
Thank you, moderator. The Honorable Chief Minister, Attorney General, Minister of Justice, my friend and brother, the Minister of Information and Communication, Excellency, the EU Ambassador, and the UN Resident Coordinator. What Gulu did not tell you is that all these conversations we've had across the country are funded by the European Union. Thank you very much. Citizens of Sierra Leone, there are a few things we need to answer. For us as International IDEA, the question is, why are we involved into this process? Because this is a Sierra Leonean process. The story about the ANU, the Agreement for National Unity, and the Tripartite have been told repeatedly. But when did we get involved into this process? So following the elections, International IDEA, which is the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, we started work in Sierra Leone roundabout in 2021. Initially with an invite from the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone. They wanted us to help them train in on around electoral risk management. But thereafter, we had a grant from the European Union called the Sierra Leone Democracy Strengthening Program. Our initial focus was just to support EMBs, a set of civil society organizations, ahead of the 2023 elections. But following the 2023 elections, a program of conversation, how do we reshape our intervention in Sierra Leone commenced. And I want to say thank you very much, Chief Minister, and his team, especially my friend and brother, I'm not sure if he's around, Dr. Edmond Kanu and Mohamed Lamin. We started a program of conversation with the Chief Minister. And the question we wanted to answer then, how can this program support the governance architecture in Sierra Leone? By then, the tripartite conversation was still ongoing. We did not know what the recommendations would be. We did not know what will happen thereafter. But what we did through the support of the European Union, there's another person who is not around, Enrico Esborgi, has been very supportive in this process. So we're able to develop a program of support for the government of Sierra Leone. And so what you're seeing today, what happened across the region, is as a result of that thought process over 1 year ago. with the Honorable Chief Minister. Sometimes when I sit back, I begin to look. Well, we're aware that all of this was going to happen when we think through this. But this was a very good thought process between my office and this office. But we're not only supporting the Office of the Chief Minister and the Tripartite Committee. Currently, we have about 5 consultants in the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice that are helping the AG in drafting the law. And a lot of progress has happened. Happy to introduce our consultant, Luciana. Luciana, are you here? Please stand up. Luciana is a consultant from Kenya. She's a legal-minded person. She's been working with Sierra Leone for a number of years. She's the person leading the process of helping the Attorney General in writing the law. So when people say progress is not happening, and I'm sure the AG is going to speak to you about the progress, it's an indication that most of the recommendations that require legal reform process, changes into the law, Luciana and her team in the Office of the AG are already doing the process. Apart from that, we're also supporting Parliament, because it is the judgments then between myself and the Chief Minister that by the time all of these laws are reformed, Parliament needs to be willing, ready, and able to take on to these legislations or those draft laws and make them into laws. So there's a big program of support where we're supporting the legislative capacity of Parliament. So from across the Tripartite Steering Committee Secretariat to the Office of the Chief Minister, to the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, this program is supporting government initiatives that will lead to the full implementation of the Tripartite Committee recommendation. 2 months ago, we signed a sub-grant agreement through the same grant funded by the European Union to support a set of civil society organizations. One of them is a consortium led by Talking Drum Studio. It includes Talking Drum Studio, IRN, and SLAG for them to produce media products in support of communications around the process. We've done the same with Charlie, we've done the same with Leone. I'm in conversation with the Attorney General and the Minister of Information and Communication to see how we can support civic education around this process. We will be there to support what the people of Sierra Leone consider important in the democratic reform process. I'll end by saying, Golo said we have consulted about 2,000 people across this process. For 8 million Sierra Leoneans, and I'm not a mathematician, that's 0.0, maybe 0.25% of the population. So only a small proportion of the Sierra Leoneans have been consulted in this process. So those of you across the provinces, those of you seated here, you have an enormous responsibility. When you engage in this process, what are you influenced by? Are you influenced by your political interest? Are you influenced by your small interest? Or you're actually influenced by the interest of Sierra Leone? The decisions that we'll take today, the contributions we'll be making today, are we making those contributions about making the Sierra Leone democratic architecture much more better? Or we make a judgment that a one electoral system suits my political party than the other? It's a huge responsibility. 400, 500 of you have been called to make fundamental decisions about 8 million of us. Our mothers in the rural community, our friends in the villages, who are not privileged to be in this auditorium. Are you taking those decisions in their favor? But like the people of Bo said, an electoral system is important, but it's actually the electoral process that is important. Are we running clean elections? It's when we answer those questions, we are actually taking good decisions for the future of Sierra Leone. For us, that's international idea and the European Union. We'll stand ready where possible to support the people of Sierra Leone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Salawari, for the background information that they are the ones funding these processes of reform in our country. I have now the pleasure again to invite, as I said, the donor partners behind this process, and that is the European Union. So I humbly invite His Excellency Jacek Jankowski to come and make a statement.
Thank you very much. Only one additional mic? Very good morning, everyone. The Honorable Chief Minister, Dr. David Senge, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Alpha Sesay, Minister of Information and Civic Education, Chernor Ba, UN Resident Coordinator, Serafin Wakuna, Excellencies, Ambassadors, Heads of Diplomatic Missions present, Members of the Government present, Heads of Government Agencies, our friends of International IDEA, leaders of the political parties, the press and members of the public. I'm very pleased to join you this morning at the National Dialogue Conference on the choice of the electoral system to be adopted for the general and local council elections. This is largely a dialogue by Sierra Leoneans, with Sierra Leoneans, among Sierra Leoneans, for Sierra Leoneans. The European Union considers such a national dialogue very critical to democratic strengthening, peace promotion, and national development. I recall that the European Union is very interested in a transparent, peaceful, and inclusive electoral process. In Sierra Leone, during the past decades, the European Union has been dedicating important parts of its cooperation budget to this objective. And we are currently assisting and accompanying the government of Sierra Leone to implement the Tripartite Committee recommendations. Honorable Chief Minister, the European Union is here today because this national dialogue is consistent with our support program to the government and people of Sierra Leone under the governance pillar of our bilateral cooperation. We note that while this is a national event, the European Union is happy to be a supportive partner to the collective democratic reform processes of Sierra Leone. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this gathering will contribute not only to the implementation of Recommendation 78 of the Tripartite Committee, but also to the overall health of Sierra Leone's democracy and national development. As a reliable partner, the European Union is happy to provide funding to support this process through International IDEA, who is implementing the Sierra Leone Democracy Strengthening Program, one of our two main electoral support programs. Under the Sierra Leone Democracy Strengthening Program, International IDEA has deployed legal experts in the Office of the Attorney General, who can confirm this, I hope, to help the redrafting of laws and as recommended by the Tripartite Committee. The European Union is also supporting the Parliament of Sierra Leone, the Peace Commission, the two electoral management bodies, the Electoral Commission and the Political Parties Regulation Commission, civil society organization to support the implementation of the Tripartite Committee recommendations. While the European Union funding is supporting such processes, success is in your hands as Sierra Leoneans. You must embrace the reform process and meaningfully engage with it, so that the eventual choice of an electoral system is people-centered. On a similar vein, I urge the government to be inclusive in the dialogue process, to include the diversity of voices and interests involved in the political system. If a decision is taken to suit a particular interest of time, when the times and interest changes, that decision becomes obsolete. But laws are made to stand the test of time and interest. Please ensure that today's decision stands the test of time and political interest. For those Sierra Leoneans who are here today, your decisions should be guided by conscience and goodwill. Do the right thing that serves your country and your future generations. Let me thank our partner, International IDEA, for the wonderful job and the supportive effort of the Tripartite Committee Secretariat, the Attorney General, and the Minister of Justice and Office of the Chief Minister. I wish you all successful deliberation, and we look forward to seeing and engaging with the outcome of this engagement. And last but not least, the leitmotif of the European Union Ambassador. And now these three remain: unity, freedom, and justice. But the greatest of this is unity. Plenty thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, His Excellency, for your statement. Of course, as I have just said, we will take note very seriously of the issues we need in our country. We have spoken about two donors in this process.
The General and Minister of Justice and the members of the Tripartite Steering Committee Secretariat for coordinating and leading the legislative reform and implementation of the cross-party committee recommendations. We just heard what they have been doing throughout the country in terms of consultations. And as at the United Nations, we do recognize the significance of holding inclusive dialogue with various stakeholders. It's a democratic process to generate the public's consensus on various critical and contentious aspects of legislative and electoral reforms. And through the years, we have noticed Sierra Leone making considerable progress in strengthening the national legislation. However, the recent examination of electoral systems and processes identified the need to sustain these reforms for further improvement of electoral operation systems in conformity with international electoral standards and good practices. We then welcome the government's effort to accelerate the implementation of the recommendations and organization of nationwide inclusive consultations for the adoption of an electoral system pertinent to the governance and economic development of the country. I trust today's consultations will offer a range of practical proposals for discussions. Thus, I urge all stakeholders to constructively interrogate the merits and demerits of the various options to ensure informed decisions on the choices of electoral systems to be adopted. I also urge pertinent stakeholders to act on the adoption of the electoral system to allow the election management bodies to commence the preparation for 2028 elections. But more importantly, to provide sufficient time for raising awareness on the adopted electoral system and its operational features for the informed participation of stakeholders in the electoral process. The United Nations in Sierra Leone continues to provide technical electoral assistance to state institutions in the implementation of the cross-party committee recommendations and requisite support to the Tripartite Steering Committee Secretariat for Citizen Engagement. The partnership will continue for consolidation of electoral reforms in close cooperation with development partners who, over the years, made significant contribution toward improving the electoral process in Sierra Leone. We deeply appreciate their contributions and continuous coordination around the electoral technical assistance. In concluding my remarks, I would like to bring to your information that while waiting for the recent conducted UN Needs Assessment Mission directions on new technical electoral assistance, the UN will continue to support the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone in the implementation of the cross-party committee recommendations. Our primary focus, we are
Big blouse to our Minister, Honorable Chelo Eba, Minister of Information and Civic Education.
Thank you very much. On a low clap for the chairman for the National Council for Civic Education and Democracy. This man is a terrific chairman. He don't do a wonderful job. Me brother, the country in Chief Innovation Officer and Chief Minister, Dr. David Moinina Senge. My brother, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Mr. Alpha Sise, Excellencies, the EU Ambassador to Salon, the UN resident, my brother, Dr. Mahmoud Tarawali. I just want to point out to Una Fobi College, say, Mahmoud, Alpha, and me, we all are Divisonians from Frabe College, and both of them serve as presidents for Dinikul Hall. So Dinikul, oh yeah, we don't go Dinikul, sorry for we are. We extend the condolences to Una all. I want to acknowledge the presence, of course, of very distinguished personalities within Aya, the Deputy Mayor. I don't know who's all you've been there, Mr. Deputy Mayor. You know they didn't go. Condolences. I see the APC Secretary General self be there, President of the Bar Association, my colleague Minister of Gender, the recently outgone Secretary to the President, but Special Executive Assistant to His Excellency, the very distinguished Dr. Emmanuel Gaima, Deputy Minister of Civic Education, all other distinguished protocols duly observed. I take my responsibility as Minister of Information and Civic Education as a sacred one, especially when it comes to a conversation of this nature. So make a tell thank you to the Tripartite Secretariat for where they organize this convening and where they continue for create them platform here for our advanced President Bio in vision. We are an open of the seats. So I go back to that whole example where we do election na me mama in side comot na Jimmy Bagbo. Na Bagbo we get 2-3 political party votes. Not only one we get it 36%, not only no more they take all the seats, all the power and go. The people they will vote for them other candidates, the way the total go up to 60-something%. They self feel like say they get seats, they get voice. So when election come, they say no, say we get reason for local votes because we self go get seats and we go get voice. Family and the two options in this we come for discourse. Who's why you pick, who's why you want. Now we don't consult on. And as minister, we don't go across the country who said our civic engagement there. I just want to share what me understand as people they desire. Simple. We want a democracy where all man will feel heard, feel seen, and feel represented. We don't need for sugarcoats. Salon, we get various forms of divisions. Some of we will come on at the south, east, north, west, because me now I come all side. Papa Shaki, we don't show that pass and they come all side. Some people Mena Fulaman, Mena Mendeman, I can proudly say Mena Fulaman, Mena Mendema, Mena Shabuman. That's the you know, a system can be made. A legitimate case, you get reason there you say, yeah, we want this, we want different elements, them and all. And then arguments and they get validity. But when you make a decision, where you consider all the factors and you weigh them factor the day and say which one in the present context will best reflect the best interest of this country, will it bring the country come together, will it reduce tension, will it reduce animosity, will it make sure say everybody feels they get sit around the table, will it promote peace, will it promote cohesion. We get plenty country them. We don't get this kind of system. We get similar demographic characteristics like Queen and Salon. From the German system, Swedish system, South Africa, Namibia, plenty countries in the world. They don't see say a democracy not for be you. Now you take all things. You know, from Eastern, they say this person elect Mondo, where you don't chop, you clear the plate, you take all things, now you eat all things. In this system, we don't view now that if we create a system, we want person know the Mondo and collect all things go, we share. What you get, we share. All man in voice reflected. You least likely for take that table and turn about the table because you said you get seats at the table. So I want to tell you and thank you here so the debates and discuss. We at the Ministry of Information.
We want to thank you for being here. accountable, how trust is built, and how every citizen feels their voices count. His Excellency the President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, has placed democratic renewal at the very heart of his governance agenda, anchored in Big Five game changers, the complete of the constitutional review process is a centerpiece, a process delayed for decades, but now finally within our reach. This is not about ticking legal boxes, ladies and gentlemen. Is resounding. We must build a system that reflects Sierra Leone's democratic maturity and aspirations. Ladies and gentlemen, let us remember how far we have come. Sierra Leone has held 5 consecutive elections since the end of our civil conflict in 2002. To the Okada rider in Makeni, who asked only for equity in decision making. These voices were not background noise. They were the compass. Recommendation 78 is a testament to that inclusive spirit. It affirms that what many have long felt, our electoral system must be. Since 1990 elections and the proportional representation deployed also in 3 elections, from wartime adaptations to the district block model in 2023. I like to say this, that globally, I like to say this. Over 90 democracies parties and interest, and note that what matters most is not who wins, but how we play this game. Let us innovate contextually and recommend reforms that are not imported, but rooted in Sierra Leone's lived realities. Let this not be a moment of advocacy alone. Let it be a moment of co-creation. Ladies and gentlemen, the choice we make in this dialogue is generational. Electoral systems are not mere machinery. They are reflections of who we are and who we aspire to become. And that is why we say, as we discuss Resolution 78, Recommendation 78, there are also other recommendations that should be put into perspective. There is Recommendation 70, which talks about the survival of political parties, especially smaller political parties. So let us have that in mind when we discuss Resolution 78. Let us also have Resolution 79 in mind, as recommended by the Tripartite Committee, that in in this national dialogue, we should also have a conversation about the rights of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora to participate in the electoral process through voting. So as we do all of these, ladies and gentlemen, let us choose a path that will around shared democratic values. This national dialogue must be remembered not just as a policy forum, but as a democratic turning point. Together, we can use this process to define a system that future generations will not only inherit, but they will celebrate. On that note, I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Because he himself is a chief. And then when he won as president, he said, let me bring the chiefs together. And they created the office of the chief minister. And therefore, in this meeting, the chief minister will talk to us. When the national agreement was made, it was made in his hands, under his watch. The tripartite committee that was set, he was the chair of the tripartite committee. So everything in the tripartite committee recommendation and how we have to move is his work. And he's providing the guidance until we get to our goal and destination. At this moment, I have the pleasure and honor to humbly invite our Chief Minister, Honorable Dr. David Mwenina Seni. Let's give him a big applause.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. You know, I would like to acknowledge the guests and the speakers on the high table and every other important person in this room. Why will the sitting president, after the opposition did not come to serve in the councils, I'm happy the deputy mayor is here, in parliament, why will His Excellency agree that he will sit and have an agreement of national unity with them? The key word, unity. And it's because His Excellency has been at the center of Bintumani 1, Bintumani 2, and Bintumani 3. I want to highlight something, that the Independent Commission for Peace and National Cohesion, which became a central player in the Agreement for National Unity, was established by Bintumani 3. So these dialogues that we have are not nice to have. They are not check boxes. We don't do them for our partners. We do them because the stability, the development, and the future of our country are inherently dependent on an inclusive, transformational, and participatory dialogue. So I want to thank all the parties who've been involved, the EU for supporting IDEA, and international IDEA has been essential in our progress. As you heard Mahmoud say, we didn't put this activity to spend EU's money. We thought about this activity over a year ago, and we understood that it was based within the framework of the ongoing constitution. That's why the AG's office has been a major co-convener and co-participant. And the Ministry of Civic Education and NACSID are also not here by coincidence. So the resident coordinator and the EU ambassador and all of our partners, I thank you for being here. Recommendation 80 of that tripartite report said, I read and quote, that the final report be tabled in cabinet and that the cabinet develops a cabinet paper to guide government of Sierra Leone implementation, including legislative reforms as required. Parties call upon development partners and other international organizations to provide technical and financial assistance for implementation. Together we are delivering, because Cabinet did pass that paper. Cabinet did instruct me as Chief Minister to set up the Secretariat, which has been working. The development partners did support international idea to facilitate the implementation of this. Recommendation 79, at the last three there, at the end part 78, we make with there. The committee recognizes the need for early and diaspora voting, but will suggest that this issue be discussed in the national dialogue recommended in Recommendation 78. Because I am the guardian and custodian of the implementation of this, I urge the AG and the Tripartite Committee and everybody, the Bar Association, people who are here, that as we discuss, do not forget Recommendation 79, because it is explicitly clear that this convening is when that should be discussed. So if we are not being put on a speaking notes yet, do ya? We're going to add one paragraph now on the line there. And then look at you, Madam President, on the early and diaspora voting. Now, Recommendation 78, which is why we are truly here, reads, there should be a national dialogue on the choice of electoral system to be adopted for parliament and local councils between the district proportional representation system and the first past the post system. Whichever electoral system is adopted should ensure that a minimum 30% female representation is maintained. The women party exists not to make win election. If we don't understand that essence of why parties exist, we can never have a dialogue that leads to national, social and economic programs of a national character. We'll not go develop. The Constitution says the reason we make political party day, it lists them all. Number one, now for shape the political will of the people, waiting we as the people say we want. Number two, now for shape information, education, for disseminate information. Number three, now for make sure say social and economic program then development will happen across the country. And number four, the last one, is say for sponsor candidates then for election across the board. It talks about win election. So why make all the kill we serve for win election? The essence of this dialogue here today, now for make we as a people then say, how we go deliver on the political party? Whose voting system go allow that kisip, that gizzy person with the under for make my idea be represented? Whose voting system go allow for make NDP SLPP or small party for make me share political idea then. Whose voting system go allow for make sure say that social economic program of national character go happen na fair and dogo. We na SLPP, we say we na party, we na progressive, social democratic inclusion party. That's the 19 our constitution. All the different parties then get their own reason what make them exist. And they get their own people then. We brother at the council, Mr. Deputy Mayor Leone Oju Moses, SLPP Councillor Dai, Mego Gian Good Road. But fet's not the na Freetown or Tengbeton for who that they go replace Oju Moses. So me and the APC brother, Secretary General, we know the course we set for say somebody for say election day. We focus on development talk, not so Mr. Secretary General. Now that day 9 for happy. We for focus on development and on council development. Not so for make we the pet we serve during election. So yes, this now we mean by together we are delivering. I will end on 2 final points. And that really is to you, the AG, to the
Okay, so like I said, we now come to the technical aspects here and other things that will follow quickly. So we'll start with the consultants because they have the responsibility to find out what.
And that's that's just in compliance with recommendation 78 of the tripartite agreement, which says, and I quote, that there should be a national dialogue on the choice of electoral system to be adopted for parliament and local councils between the district proportional representation system and the first past the post system. So I think we all know how the whole tripartite agreement, how we got to this point. I don't want to bore you with all of that. I think previous speakers have discussed that extensively. So what did we do? First, as I said, our services were consulted by International IDEA to just do a comparative analysis of the systems that we've used. We don't go in between them 2 systems here from 1996. I think each of them would sample them 3 times. The first past the post would also use the proportional representation. But I will hasten to say that we can tend for box the proportional representation with a cumbra of different proportional representation systems. But all the time, as we say proportional representation, I think we can just say that our district block number or that single constituency will be used in 1996. That one country, one will be used in 1996 because we'll not be able to access the rest of the country. But there are variants of the proportional representation system. 2, IDEA used reports they have been submitted for guide the conversation we will get now. And 3, we don't structure this whole conversation here in 3 strands, I would say. 1, we don't get expert reviews, expert communication, expert conversation with different groups of people. We don't meet the Interreligious Council, we don't meet the police or security sector in general. We don't also get the bookman. Because there's this tendency for me to just limit this conversation. There is always this tendency for us to just limit these national conversations to those in the governance sector or the political parties without including the academia. So we brought them, we had an expert conversation, really enlightening, really inspirational. I think we also get views. It's so polarized now. Even our views are laced within kind values of political interests or political values.
But in Putloco and Bo, I must say they do a great job. And that one day, because they've been getting strong views, but they were objective and they were constructive in that process, they asked where they go. But what we will also come up with in this whole conversation, as I say, one, our citizens, our views about the whole electoral systems are really, really limited because we're not engaged much, we not read much, but we, as I say, we box the PR. Now, one, we always box the PR, we're facing just one system, but the PR and a Cumbra system. Just like example, we can get A, B, C, and D. But we can always tend to box them in. So one is the citizens' views, citizens' knowledge really limited about the electoral system. But two, we say citizens want credible, transparent electoral system, but also they want EMBs to be trustworthy. I think that struck across the board during the whole conversation. The third one is that citizens think they're delighted about the 30% quota to women, but some people still think 30% does not tick the box. I think the woman they want to go be above the 30%. They say that 30% in a quota. Now just dash them. So there was an example in the room across the country, one of the international experiences. In a case like Kenya, they get 47 seats when no man know they contest. 47, so no matter what, in the Kenyan legislature, you always have 47 women there. But the women are also saying that's tokenism, that they can compete with the men as well. So they don't quite favor that idea of having safe seats for women. Another critical issue that came up was that we need an electoral system that is cost effective. Kind PR than what we get. It give the citizens that opportunity, the institutionalization of the political parties. Well, political parties not quite function like proper institutions. Somebody during the meeting, they said political parties and still function like social clubs. So we all know graduated to that level there. And that's what the political party leaderships must work towards. Because if we don't get our accountability there, if we don't get our political parties to be accountable to us, then we'll go to run around in circles, unfortunately. Going forward, we say, people have been getting their own views about first past the post and the PR system. But generally, people feel say, no system not perfect, as a couple of speakers don't remind me today. Size fits all. I mean, at the end of the day, the system would work for South Africa, and I must remind all of us that at least about 90 countries across the world. Let's get the best system that's cost effective for us. Let's look at a system that makes provision for all interest groups in this country. Plenty, thank you.
We forgive more to the consultants. So that anyone will see, let me go clap small, one of the three. Thank you very much, Mr. Pemagui, for your presentation. We have seen it, and it provides some knowledge for us for our discourse as we go along. So we now come to us all for some representatives to come and make their own inputs into the process. It's here that we want to get presentation from our partners, whether they are going to give their position papers or their own suggestions to this process. So I will go straight This is all about elections and election management. So the body sets for our election systems in Sierra Leone, I think it's good we listen to them first. So I have the pleasure to invite the Electoral Commissioner of Sierra Leone to come and do a presentation. Or his representative. The commissioner was here. Let's clap for the commissioner for the Delta region, representing the chief.
The Attorney General and the Minister of Justice, the Honorable Minister of Information and Civic Education, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The Chief Electoral Commissioner was here this morning, but was called to attend or to address an important issue. So I read this paper on his behalf and on behalf of the Electoral Commission. I bring you greetings from the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone that has the constitutional mandate to conduct public elections and regulate electoral activities, including but not limited to voter registration, polling, and result management. I am delighted to be invited to present a position paper on behalf of ECSL at this national dialogue, and I thank the organizers for bringing us together. ECSL also takes this as a duty and responsibility to actively participate in any matter relating to elections. In recent electoral history, Sierra Leone has practiced two forms of electoral systems in the conduct of parliamentary elections. In 1996, 2002, and 2023 elections, Sierra Leone practiced the PR system, while in 2007, 2012, and 2018 elections, the first past the post system was used. This has given Sierra Leoneans a very good opportunity to weigh in on both systems in determining the path forward for the future. In 1996 and 2002, the PR system was precipitated largely by insecurity due to the civil war. In 2023, it was introduced following the inability to delimit electoral boundaries due to the 2022 midterm census. This clearly shows that the PR system has only been used in Sierra Leone as a last resort. The first past the post, on the other hand, has been used as the primary electoral system over the years. With this brief background, allow me to present this paper by expounding on few advantages of both systems as it relates to the Sierra Leonean context. I will juxtapose the disadvantages alongside as I go along. First past the post electoral system. Proponents of the first past the post system often praise it for fostering accountability due to the strong link between constituents and their representatives, as each elected official represents a specific geographical area or a constituency. It is argued that first past the post establishes strong connection between the electorate and the elected. The elected representative is therefore expected to be closely linked with his or her constituents. Arguably, this is not the case in a PR system where candidates are elected representatives seem to owe more allegiance to their political parties than the electorate. However, some pundits opine that this is not a challenge on the PR system, but its implementation. In some countries, political parties employ strategies to ensure that candidates on the party list are vetted and selected by members of their constituents, and therefore will owe allegiance and be accountable to their electorate rather than to their political leadership. Therefore, it is more an issue of how strong internal party disciplines and democracies are when implementing PR rather than a disadvantage of the PR system. The first-past-the-post system has also been described as simple, easy to understand, and to implement, as it requires voters to vote for one candidate, and the candidate with the most votes win. Comparatively, it is said that PR systems are difficult to understand and complex to explain to voters. In truth, however, like the first-past-the-post, voting in a PR system, like a district block system, is just as simple as voters are required to vote for one political party, as they do in the first-past-the-post system. The core difference lies in converting votes cast into seat one, which is indeed more difficult to understand by the average voter. The PR system. Advocates for PR system often describe it as a more democratic system in comparison to the first-past-the-post. This is because it reduces wastage as every vote counts, especially in situations where thresholds are low. Almost all votes in a PR system result in electing a candidate. This encourages voter participation, knowing that their vote will indeed count. This is unlike the first-past-the-post, where a candidate can be elected with a fewer number of votes, while the majority votes cast remain unused. It is also argued that the PR system facilitates the election of minority political representation. While this might not be seen as the case following the 2023 elections, it by no means negates the veracity of these statements. Where thresholds are low and minority political groups or parties have reasonable support, PR system by far provides a higher degree of probability for such parties or groups to be elected compared to first-past-the-post. In recent history, the only time Sierra Leone has had the most diverse political representation in parliament was when PR systems were used in 1996 and in 2002. In addition to facilitating minority political representation, PR system is arguably the best political system for increasing women political representation. The passing of the Dewey Act in 2022 is no doubt a stepping stone to achieving increased women political representation. However, the electoral system that easily facilitates the implementation of such policies is the PR system. According to the Interparliamentary Union monthly ranking of women in national parliaments of 1st July 2025, the top 20 countries with the highest women representation in national legislatures all practice some form of PR system. This is no coincidence. Statistics have proven that there is a strong correlation between increasing women political representation and the PR system. In the 2023 local council elections, for instance, the PR system made it easily possible for APC to win seats in districts like Bo, Kenema, Kailau, Banff, and Moyamba districts. At the same time, for SLPP to win seats in Bombali, Port Loko, Tonkolili, and Kwenadugu districts. This would have been almost impossible to achieve had it been under the first-past-the-post. Sierra Leone desperately needs this political balance if we are to dilute the regional political dichotomy and develop as a political tolerant country. The financial costs associated with conducting by-elections is worth noting. Since the conduct of the 2023 elections, the ECSL has filled 16 vacancies, including PCMP, members of parliament, and councillors using the endorsed list of political parties for affected districts. Sierra Leone will have expended more than 19 million new loans, or 19 billion old loans on these by-elections. If we had used the first-past-the-post, Sierra Leone would have expended over 19 million new loans if we had used the first-past-the-post. Away from the financial cost is also the social cost that has engulfed our by-elections in recent years. Fighting, killing, social dichotomy and political tensions have become synonymous to by-elections. From Kailahun to Tonkolili, Koinadugu to Falaba, Kambia to Western area, we have witnessed immense political violence during by-elections. With PR system, where there is no by-election, you will agree with me that political tensions have simmered as the common ground for political fights has been eliminated. As from several discussions since 2022, it has become apparent that a major concern about the PR system is the threshold. Threshold is the minimum votes that a candidate or political party is to obtain to enable it to attain a seat in parliament. The threshold in the 2023 parliamentary election was 11.9, and for councillors it was 4.5. The threshold for members of parliament was deemed to be too high by many political observers and stakeholders, although it was lower than the 12.5 threshold used in the 2002 elections. They argued that the threshold would marginalize other political parties and prevent economically weak political parties from winning seats in parliament. The above argument is arguably upheld when, after the June 2023 elections, only 2 leading political parties succeeded in winning seats in parliament. It is therefore critical that this threshold is reviewed downwards to make it appealing to all stakeholders without watering down the electoral landscape. The Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone reaffirms its commitment to promoting electoral systems that best reflects the will of the people, strengthening national unity, and ensure inclusive governance. After careful analysis of our country's political context, demographic diversity, and history of electoral challenges, it is evident that some form of PR system offers the most equitable means of translating votes into seats and equitable national development program. Let me thank you for your attention.
Thank you. We've heard from the Electoral Commission, the body that conducts our election, and they have shared their views on the 2 systems we have used in our country. So we note their issues, their concerns, and of course, when we all make our inputs, we will decide how to do. We will continue now to listen to presentation of further position papers by interested parties. I will be calling organizations, not by any hierarchy, but as I will call them. So please don't be offended by how I'm calling anyone to come and present. It can be at any point, and what is important, people have to present their positions here. So it is not in any order or any rank. Now I will ask the All Political Parties Association to come and present. All Political Parties Association to come and present. So let's keep time and let's make it short so that the general public here will have time to also contribute. So like I've said, just hold the agenda, but not necessarily going as it is on the agenda, but everything there you have to come and present.
The Attorney General, Ministers of Government, Commissioners of the ECSL, leaders of political parties here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. My name is Ibrahim Soisise. I'm the Secretary General of the All Political Parties Association, which is the umbrella association of registered political parties in Sierra Leone. Presently, we are comprising of 13 registered political parties out of the 17 registered political parties. So the submission I will make here today is on behalf of those 13 registered political parties. This is our position paper on the preferred electoral system for Sierra Leone under the tripartite recommendation 78. So I will go through the background with your permission, how we arrived to this justification with regards to the preferred system that we want to use as a nation, which we are recommending as political parties. The leadership of all political parties association on 17th, 18th June 2025 met at the Gardiners Hotel in Bow City. The main purpose of the meeting was to critically examine and build consensus around the tripartite recommendation as proposed for enhancing electoral and legal reforms in Sierra Leone. The retreat was also organized in response to the Political Party Regulation Commission, PPRC, requests for all registered political parties to reflect, review, and provide feedback on the proposed tripartite recommendation. So the theme of the retreat was political parties joining hands for a better Sierra Leone. The retreat brought together delegates from across all districts, region, and at the national level. The leadership of political parties collectively reaffirmed their central role of political parties in advancing multi-party democracy for economic growth and development. The main discussions and deliberations were focused on the critical review and analysis of the 80 proposed tripartite recommendation. Unanimous call was made for public financing for political parties in Sierra Leone to enable them to fulfill their constitutional mandate as enshrined in Section 35(1) of the 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone, which clearly states that political parties may be established to help shape the political will of the people, disseminate information on economic and social program of national character, and to sponsor candidates for presidential, parliamentary, and local council elections. The retreat adopted a common interactive participatory approach and the methodology of the review of the 80 tripartite recommendation. We accepted 68 out of the 80 proposed recommendations with some modification to improve on some of the proposed recommendations, and then rejected 11 out of those recommendations, of which we submit those in a matrix form here today in this meeting. The acceptance or rejection of the proposed recommendation were also based on the relevance of each recommendation in contributing to preserving the integrity of future national electoral processes with the common goal to ensure free, violence-free, fair, transparent, and unaccountable electoral outcome. Additional criteria centered on the contribution of short recommendations to improving electoral legal reviews, institutional building on how to enhance the level of transparency and accountability of activities associated with electoral administrations and operations. We consider those rejected based on the following criteria. 1, their ability to undermine the true spirit of certain provisions of the 1991 Constitution, the Public Elections Act of 2002, and the Political Parties Act of 2002. Concerns we are particularly raised on how some of the recommendations can compromise democratic principles and our shared values, as well as independence, impartiality, and neutrality of our electoral management bodies, the MBs. In addition, certain recommendations have the tendency to close the political space for the promotion of multi-party democratic culture, especially in our highly polarized society, like we throw strong emphasis on recommendation 70, which we believe may have, recommendation may have the tendency to close the political space because, as we said, Section 35, subsection 1 clearly states why political parties are established, not only to win election, but for us to perform 3 key functions as established in the 1991 Constitution.
Our 2 days it marked a significant milestone in Sierra Leone democratic journey, especially after the 2023 general election, by coming together in a spirit of cooperation. Political parties demonstrated unity and shared commitment to contribute towards electoral reforms and advancing multi-party democratic culture. So, why we are here today, our position on the recommendation 78 on the preferred electoral system of government. Judging from the extract of the retreat, what we agreed on, which is a national consultation of registered political parties in ABA. So the extracts from the retreat on the preferred electoral system for Sierra Leone, tripartite recommendation 78. All political parties association APA Sierra Leone preferred the proportional representation PR system. APA Sierra Leone notes with keen interest that our electoral system cannot solve all our problems, but rather the one we choose can help, the one that is best fitted can help to mitigate them. The electoral system that will help us to address the current challenges is really what is matter for us as political parties. In order to guarantee the building of consensus, promotion of political tolerance, peace, political fairness and inclusion of majority views and their participation in governance processes, APA categorically calls for the use of the proportional representation PR system instead of the first past the post, on the basis that the PR system strengthens inclusivity and call for increased political participation in our body politic, as it's more representative and accelerates gender empowerment. It will also guarantee women across the country of their 30% quota representation in parliament and local councils. Save costs and valuable resources used in by-election, which can be redirected into other development programs, such as health, education, agriculture, infrastructure, etc. Once vacancy occur in parliament or council, those vacancies are filled without no problem. Like in the previous, when we have by-elections, we used to have tensions, and like what happened, 110, Cambia, Samara Bendugu. So all those tensions, these are the parameters that we set, what will address the problem, the challenges that we are facing currently. That brings us to this conclusion. We want to reduce the campaign burden on individual candidates, and we believe the PR is more unifying. It will lessen ethnic tension, promote national cohesion, and help in the consolidation of peace. It will also guarantee efficient and effective quality representation in parliament. We believe it also allows for greater political inclusivity and fairness by allowing other political parties a better opportunity to be represented in both parliament and local councils, because we believe if the PR system is about more participation, we believe that will address, that the PR system will better address representation. For better management of diversity, we believe it will promote political pluralism and also promote cooperation and strengthen collaboration between political parties. However, there is a caveat. In a bid to provide a collective effort in actualizing the desired goal of the PR system, the All Political Parties Association called for a timely intervention on the following concerns. APA call on the ECSL, if the PR system, if we accept the PR system, the ECSL and all political parties to embark on more sensitization across the country to ensure wider comprehensive understanding of the PR system. That the ECSL to call a meeting of all registered political parties to collectively review the developed regulation as to what should be the threshold or percentage that will determine political parties a seat in parliament and local councils. Because currently we have 11.9%, of which that one is a challenge to us. We see it as it will prevent other political parties from going to pass what we saw in the 2023 elections. The primary focus of the PR system is to allow for greater political participation, inclusivity, and fairness. Okay. And fairness by allowing all political parties a better opportunity to be represented in both parliament and local councils. If that is the case, APA Sierra Leone is of the view that the calculation of the threshold to allocate seats to political parties should be reviewed, taking into consideration international best practice that is best fitting for us as a nation, with a focus of making it even more below than 3% of the valid votes obtained by political parties in a district. The All Political Party Association also recommend the removal of payment of the second list for political parties nominated candidates, because what happens currently, you pay for two lists. Once political parties submit their list, you pay for the first list and the second list. So we are recommending just to pay for one list. APA recommend for the PR to reflect a national level to allow the winning party to allocate 20% of appointed position to go to other political parties based on the current election outcomes, as this will help to reduce the security threat and tension associated with elections outcome and discourage the winners take all. APA recommend for priority to be given, especially to women, youth, and persons with disability, to be represented in both parliament and local councils. We therefore recommend a national party list system, a closed list of the PR system. A call to action. We urge the government of Sierra Leone, the Steering Committee on the Implementation of the Tripartite Recommendation, civil society organizations, and development partners, particularly the international moral guarantors of the Agreement for National Unity. Agreement for National Unity signed between the SLPP-led government, the Sierra Leone, the SLPP-led government, the All People's Congress Party, to ensure the common position of the all political parties association are taken into consideration in implementation of the tripartite recommendation. We also urge that we must embrace equitable partnership and the active involvement, participation, and inclusion of all registered political parties in the process. APA recommends for the tripartite recommendation 70 to be abandoned, as this will have the tendency to undermine political democracy and weaken political pluralism, close the political space for the promotion of multi-party democratic culture, especially in our highly polarized society, violate people's rights to political participation, and undermine the spirit behind the creation of the Sierra Leone 1991 Constitution. APA also strongly called for public financing to strengthen the administrative and institutional capacities of political parties, as provided for in the terms of reference for the establishment of the Inter-Party Dialogue Committee, the IPDC, under Resolution 5 of the Agreement for National Unity. This is our submission from the All Political Parties Association. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, APA, for the presentation. We will continue to receive other position papers, but please, I think we will give some timing to presenters. You know, I think you just give us the key highlights of your position paper. Since they are all written, then we can give. All right, thank you. Okay, we are here for this purpose. I only wanted that. I'm also considering that the people up there will also have space to contribute. So, all right. ECSL, sorry, could you please submit your position paper? Have you collected? Okay, thank you very much. So, I will now then invite the Council of Paramount Chiefs to come and present their position paper. Council of Paramount Chiefs. Is it PowerPoint?
Good morning, good afternoon. All the 14 districts of Sierra Leone, all the regions of Sierra Leone, we are truly a national institution, and we cut about across ethnic, and regional and district lines. We have here today, we have a national chairman who's from Kono, we have a secretary general who's from the Moyamba district, we have a regional chairman from the northeast, who's from Bombali. We have another regional chairman from the northwest. We have a female eminent persons within the National Council of Paramount Chiefs. We truly represent the leadership of the organic leadership of Sierra Leone. And what I'm presenting here today is the opinion, is a collective opinion of that organic leadership. With your permission, I'll go ahead and present what was our considered opinion. We hear about talking about elections, which election systems to use in Sierra Leone. That in itself is not a bad thing, but we will rather focus on what governance system looks like after those elections, because we're only going to have elections for a few months, a few very fraught months, sometimes fraught with violence, fraught with very unproductive things, in our opinion. But after those elections, we end up with governments. A national government in Freetown, a district council government. And then what? For the next 5 years, our people have to live with the decisions made by those governments. That is what we will rather focus on, because within election periods or outside of election periods, paramount chiefs still have to take care of the welfare and the safety and the peace of our communities. So, with respect, we will want to focus on the effect of our elections or electoral systems on the governance system of the country and how well we will respond to the needs of our population. So this is the theme of our presentation. That's why we say we are taking a principled stand for and call for accountability and representative governance in Sierra Leone, not just what happens in elections. And to make this presentation, because there was a robust discussion among paramount chiefs, and believe me, this is not your grandfather's paramount chieftaincy. This is your modern paramount chieftaincy, where we have medical doctors, we have lawyers, we have administrators. I am personally a registered professional engineer, registered in the USA, and I could be a chartered engineer in England. And the last job that I had before becoming a paramount chief was as a managing director for the London mining company, which was able to reopen the Marampa mines. But I'm not the only one. We have several paramount chiefs with all sorts of capabilities. And so when you're having discussions among people like that, you know that it's going to be a robust discussion. That's why I count it a particular privilege for them to select me to make this presentation. And what we did was, basically, we want to present that to you as speaking generally about our roles as paramount chiefs, and then having general discussions about what we should think about before selecting an electoral system. In order to do that, we need to think about bridging the gaps right now between the local inputs and the national decisions that our political officials make. How to achieve responsive representation and leadership, and then when we go into governance, to give our own wisdom, traditional wisdom, to the modern systems that our electoral system is going to develop. As well, then we finally come, then and only then, we come to the electoral systems that we should adopt. And within that electoral system, our focus should be on local accountability. We have right now 190 chiefdoms, even though we started with very few. But we have 190 chiefdoms with supposedly 190 paramount chiefs. We have a lot of ethnic groups, but all of our people want a common thing, which is to live in peace, to get their share of the national cake equitably, to be treated by politicians in the distribution of development and other niceties from the national government, to be treated fairly. And we stand between the national government and our local people who trust us, that if we can work with the national government very carefully, and I think we will prevent a lot of the hiccups that we're having in our national safety and security issues. After all of that, we end up with concluding statements and discussions on where we need to go. So that's just a preamble, and I'm going to go through this very quickly. In the enduring role of paramount chiefs, our role started from being absolute rulers. Our decisions were never questioned. To where we are right now, we are just pillars of our community. But our people still understand the roles that we play with them. We don't make all the rules right now, but they still have a lot of an enduring respect for our responsibilities. They understand that we are venerable custodians and direct representatives of our communities. We get a lot of people claiming that they are talking on behalf of the communities. You talk about CSOs, NGOs, whatever alphabet soup of organizations. But if you go into our towns and villages, in all 190 chiefdoms in Sierra Leone, ask the people, who are your leaders? They will point to a chief right up to their paramount chiefs. So I want us to be aware of that we are the most legitimate representatives of our communities, and therefore guardians of our cultural heritage. We want you to understand that. And why is that the case? It's because we have centuries of traditions and customs of governance, peace, and development. Before the white man came, our rulers were called whatever they were called in our local languages. In Mende, it was Dormai, or it was Demowai. In Timni, Obai, in Fulham, in Kono, in whatever languages, we did have organic leadership before the white man came. Please, let's not forget that. And that organic leadership is what our people still understand. We're talking about democracy and representative government. And paramount chiefs buy into that completely, because we know that we have to modernize. But let's not forget that the average person in our villages, in our towns, in our chiefdoms, look up to the authority of their chiefs to make good decisions that gives them peace and encourages development. And therefore, we act as a bridge between our traditions and modernity. We want you to be aware of that. Depends on elected leaders genuinely representing their people. This is representative democracy after all. And therefore, if the elected people that you elect to parliament and elsewhere don't represent the people, then it's not democracy. It's another crazy, but it's not another crazy, but it's not democracy. It's not representative democracy. So we want you all to be very much aware of that. Now, as I said, an earlier generation, immediately after independence, understood this, and therefore they will almost never do anything without consulting their chiefs, from town chiefs right on through to paramount chiefs. In fact, what usually happened was, I know in my area, before I became a paramount chief, this was before I became a paramount chief, some parties actually recruited town chiefs and section chiefs and quarter chiefs to be not only members of their parties, but members of the executives. And they were very smart, because when you have those chiefs who are respected by their people, involved in decision making for your party, when it comes to time for elections, you don't have to, election is a pro forma affair, because their people already listen to them, their people trust them. And so whoever is selected to run under that party knows that he's bound, he has an obligation to that community. And that is very good for representative democracy. Right now, we are talking about systems that don't even involve the community. No paramount chief, never mind our sub-chiefs, are consulted about the candidates. Some candidates, I understand, don't even come from those areas. But we'll get to that in a minute. Because of that apparent shift, there is a growing discontent, and that discontent has been realized by the youth. And please, please, this is especially for our major parties. Please, because when things go wrong, the first person you blame is the paramount chief. That party don't like we. But please understand what is going on. When the youth see that you are marginalizing their trusted leaders, you don't consult their leaders when you're making your decisions about selecting candidates and things like that. You get a few people who you appoint as party executives. Those party executives know that they don't respond to the leadership of their communities, they respond to people outside. And what happens? Those party executives eventually, they get their largesse from outside, and the first thing they do, and this is an unfortunate thing among Sierra Leoneans, it's not just a Mende man, it's same with him. Most Sierra Leoneans, the first thing they do when they get a privilege is to want to be a chief. That's just our condition. And what happens when you want to be a chief? When the principle is re-evaluation. And we also want the political parties to take some of the blame for everything going wrong with the decisions that they make in Freetown. Take some of the blame off of you. Because any party that wins elections, yes, you get some credit when you go and build something in your village, but most of the rest of the country blames you for not thinking about them. Why? Because you have centralized everything. If instead of trying to do everything through your political party, once in governance, you recognize established instruments of governance, you walk through the paramount chiefs, and you give us an opportunity to have more say in the laws that you pass. For instance, immediately after independence, 19% of the seats in parliament were allocated to paramount chiefs. Today, you know what that percentage is? It's not 15%, it's not 12%, it's not 10%, it's 8%. And every time you have an election, you have more MPs, the percentage of the voice of paramount chiefs get diminished in legislation. That has to change. That has to change. And the bottom line is the biggest beneficiary, if something like that changes, is the ruling political party. Because then you have these independent paramount chiefs who you can also help to carry the blame, or at least give you more wisdom on what's the best way to go about things. But this is something that we need to think about seriously. When we looked at our electoral systems, we feel that the best way to foster if we did that, and the communities were involved in selecting their candidate, then you know that whichever candidate results from whichever political party is going to be responsive to that community. But right now, that is not the case. We have two systems, which is first past the post or proportional representation. Both involves political parties, and both of them are increasingly insular. Both of them do not consult the chiefdoms, but to a large extent, but we feel that one of them definitely has an advantage over the other in terms of the probability of getting more input, more local input. And in our judgment, having looked at how both systems have been practiced after our civil war, we feel that the first past the post has distinct advantages. The first advantage we saw is that
a place cannot produce poems. It can only not prevent them. And Freetown is good at that, for Freetown has its own sudden elegances. People are slow to leave it, quick to return. And there are others who come for a year or two and stay for a lifetime, sensing that they've found a city that is in the world, yet sufficiently on the edge of it to have a different resonance. Let me tell you something about this city. All of us, we're all just passing through, and we've all been here forever. Those who came, those who stayed, those who never returned. Tides turn, seasons change. We've waited and we've watched. But we've always been here. We've always listened. Because there is a different resonance here. It comes from the river, and the land, and the sky.
It's our place. All of us.
This city belongs to everyone.
And you know when it's your time.
And it's our time.
Listen, we are Freetown.
We are Freetown!
The golden rules of Freetown. Don't pretend you're something that you're not.
Don't go thinking you're better than anyone else.
Or that anyone else is better than you.
Don't shout about it. Get on with it.
We are Freetown.
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 Yeah.
We found our voice again.
I'm from India and Freetown.
I'm from China and Freetown.
I'm from the UK and Freetown.
Presentation promise has not materialized. And so we as Paramounties, we don't have our heads in the cloud. We have our heads in the reality of our people, of the conditions of our people. And we say PR has just not worked in Sierra Leone, so we cannot support it. There is obviously the community disconnect. The communities can feel very unrepresented. Even if my chiefdom gives the APC 99.9% of their votes, it's possible that I won't get any MP that represents my chiefdom. You know why? Because before my people voted, the party people in the district headquarters or the national headquarters had already prepared a list that put the person from around my area at the bottom of the list. And if another party got more than the threshold, then the first person to drop would be that person from my area. And so that person...
A place cannot produce poems. It can only not prevent them. And Freetown is good at that, for Freetown has its own sudden elegances. People are slow to leave it, quick to return. And there are others who come for a year or two and stay for a lifetime, sensing that they've found a city that is in the world, yet sufficient.
For governance, it's also extremely effective for the small minute money that Sierra Leone government has. But have you asked yourself a question? If you had the first past the post system, why would they pass a law that says, even under the first past the post system, when an MP dies, you ask the party to appoint another MP through their own internal mechanism? So it is just a matter of legislation. That is not a permanent advantage of the PR system. If we decide, you all decide that the first past the post system is what you have, then our recommendation is that part of that enabling legislation is to add that when an MP dies, the party, through its internal mechanisms, appoint another MP from that same party. So there really is no advantage. It's really not a deciding advantage that the first. What does all this? After careful deliberation,
on the edge of it, to have a different resonance.
Let me tell you something about this city. All of us, we're all just passing through, and we've all been here forever.
Those who came, those who stayed, those who never returned. Tides turn, seasons change. We've waited and we've watched. But we've always been here. We've always listened. Because there is a different resonance here.
Our desired outcome ultimately is that we want all stakeholders. Our desired outcome ultimately is to strengthen robust local representation, enhance democratic accountability, and ultimately contribute to the greater stability and prosperity of Sierra Leone if our recommendations are followed. That is the sum total of our wisdom on this project. I leave you now with a key message. We invite all stakeholders to engage in consultation and decide how can we collectively work to ensure elected representatives that are truly accountable to our community. Thank you very much. By the way, we have included this is a slide, but we have included a write-up here, which is which will submit to the tripartite committee that is an essay of this thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paramount Chiefs, for your position paper. We will not make any comment on position paper. The committee will look into them.
A place cannot produce poems. It can only not prevent them. And Freetown is good at that. For Freetown has its own sudden elegancies. People are slow to leave it, quick to return. And there are others who come for a year or two and stay for a lifetime, sensing that they've found a city that is in the world, yet sufficiently on the edge of it to have a different resonance.
Let me tell you something about this city. All of us, we're all just passing through, and we've all been here forever.
Those who came, those who stayed, those who never returned. Tides turn, seasons change, we've waited and we've watched. But we've always been here. We've always listened, because there is a different resonance here. It comes from the river, and the land, and the sky.
It's our place, all of us.
This city belongs to everyone.
And you know when it's your time.
And it's our time.
Listen, we are Freetown.
The golden rules of Freetown.
Don't pretend you're something that you're not.
Don't go thinking you're better than anyone else.
Or that anyone else is better than you.
Don't shout about it. Get on with it.
We are Freetown.
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 Yeah.
We found our voice again.
I'm from India and Freetown.
I'm from China and Freetown.
I'm from the UK and Freetown.
I am from Nigeria and Freetown.
I am from home and Freetown.
This city belongs to everyone.
The fishermen,
The taxi driver,
The barber,
the drummers, the dancers.
All of us, everybody. We are Freetown.
The past is ours.
the future is ours. It's our time again.
and this city belongs to everyone.
The playwright,
The greengrocer,
The teacher,
the dog.
This space is ours.
this light is ours.
The beaches are ours.
the rivers now we own.
The roads are ours.
The bridges now we own.
We are Freetown.
We are all visitors, and we've all been here forever.
We've got the mightiest river.
And the biggest sky.
And there's a resonance again.
Freetown.
We are proud of this place.
We love this city.
And we want you to love it too.
We are proud of this place.
Na pass we all dey pass like stranger dem, but we all don dare from ten. Come here, and you'll feel it, that end of the line sense of freedom. Say yes to Freetown. Say yes to freedom. A place cannot produce poems. It can only not prevent them. And Freetown is good at that, for Freetown has its own sudden elegances. People are slow to leave it, quick to return. And there are others who come for a year or two and stay for a lifetime, sensing that they found a city that is in the world, yet sufficiently on the edge of it to have a different resonance.
Let me tell you something about this city. All of us, we're all just passing through, and we've all been here forever.
Those who came, those who stayed, those who never returned. Tides turn, seasons change, we've waited and we've watched. But we've always been here, we've always listened, because there is a different resonance here. It comes from the river, and the land, and the sky.
It's our place, all of us.
This city belongs to everyone.
And you know when it's your time.
And it's our time.
Listen, we are Freetown.
The golden rules of Freetown.
Don't pretend you're something that you're not.
Don't go thinking you're better than anyone else.
Or that anyone else is better than you.
Don't shout about it. Get on with it.
We are Freetown. Freetown.
Freetown.
Yeah.
We found our voice again.
I'm from India and Freetown.
I'm from China and Freetown.
I'm from the UK and Freetown.
I am from Nigeria and Freetown.
I am from home and Freetown.
This city belongs to everyone.
The fishermen,
the taxi driver,
the barber,
the drummers, the dancers.
All of us, everybody. We are Freetown.
The past is ours.
The future is ours. It's our time again.
And this city belongs to everyone.
The playwright,
the greengrocer,
the teacher,
the dog.
This space is ours.
This light is ours.
The beaches are ours.
The rivers now we own.
The roads are ours.
The bridges now we own.
We are Freetown.
We are all visitors and we've all been here forever.
We've got the mightiest river.
And the biggest sky.
And there's a resonance again.
Freetown. Freetown.
We are proud of this place.
We love this city.
And we want you to love it too.
We are proud of this place.
Now pass we all they pass like stranger them, but we all don't dare from them. Come here, and you'll feel it, that end of the line sense of freedom. Say yes to Freetown. Say yes to freedom.
He went independent. And he won, landslide, not by small margin, landslide in 2012. 2018, also, there were other political parties in parliament. 2023, how many political parties are in parliament? You, the crowd, let me know. Only 2. Only the truth shall set us free. You know, in my party as National Secretary General, they used to directly accuse me. They said, I'm not political. Because I am more aligned with the will of the people. I am a grassroots person. I speak with them. They used to accuse me, hey, you are not political. I love this country. I love the people of this country. And when I stand as Secretary General, I not only speak as Secretary General of the APC party, I also speak as a grassroots person, and I speak for the people of this country. Number 3, strong geographic representation. The first past the post guarantees that women's representation can be advanced on that first past the post, not the district system. It is often claimed that the PR system improves women's representation. However, the 2023 election shows quotas for women, empowerment of women candidates at grassroots level. Examples, you know, from Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya, shows the high level of female representation. Can be achieved under first past the post if the political will is there, because these people practice first past the post, but they have high level of women representation because of how it is structured. Truth, nothing but the truth. So I'm not here to be applauded. Now, there was a gentleman from Bonn who came to my office, and to date he's still alive, and that's a miracle. About 3 of them, but I'm just giving you one example. All his teeth, the front teeth, about almost 10. He lost 10 in Bonn. We had to take him to the dentist, and they had to create something for him that, you know, he's using now. There was another gentleman, his bowels, his chest was severed from the chest to the bottom of his stomach, and his entrails came out. And let me say this to you. You may think we have the photos, the person is still alive, he's a young gentleman, not even over 15 years yet. But the miracle of it is that he's still alive. A referendum when it comes to the personal right of the person, because a voting right is the personal right of the individual. Let him decide. Let us go to a referendum. Why are you afraid of a referendum? You don't want the people to decide in a referendum. Why? They are going to vote. For the process to succeed, it must be inclusive. Participation from all political parties, civil society, traditional leaders, women's group, and youth representatives, and even ordinary citizens. Because these groups are not the ones that are going to vote. the ordinary citizens are going to vote. Consultation across all districts and chiefdom, not just selected urban centers. A man in the village should understand about this process, and that is what the paramount chiefs were talking about. They should understand also, because they are going to also cast their vote. They should understand the process. Unfortunately, recent developments suggest a deviation from this intent, that the initial intent of Resolution 78. Specifically, there has been a deliberate effort to exclude the opposition from public dialogue. And I say this, and that is why I'm a bit disappointed that most of the developmentals are not here and other government officers. Of course, I can see some ministers are here, and a direct, word from the president. I see you here today, or used to be, you know, and most of these discussions, the other day at Waterloo, we didn't know that there was going to be a discussion there. Somebody had to call us. They are holding a discussion here on this PR and post past the post. We were not invited because we could have informed our districts or constituency representative to be there. We want to be involved in this process, but we are not invited. We were hoping that we will receive direct invitation from Mr. Golokata that we are politicians. Sierra Leoneans must decide, not the politicians. We call on civil society, development partners, and all patriots to stand up for democracy. And I will end up by saying, even if the entire world is against the APC, any attempt to subvert Resolution 78 through state-managed consultation will be challenged vehemently through all legal processes and through the constitutional means of calling out the people to render their voice and oppose the system. It is time we take the governance of this country seriously. Let us bring governance back to the people. Today, I am speaking, and some of you, yes, I can understand. You may be thinking, oh, he's the National Secretary General of the APC, so what? What have you really thought about it? Are you really thinking about your daughter? What she wants? How she wants to vote in the next election? Have you thought about it? Simply because you are the head of a political party or you belong, so you don't want to even care about what your family wants, what the citizens of this country want. If I am at this point, I don't want to bore you further. We will make our paper to the committee, and we want to thank you all for your patience. You've all been very patient. Even those who have been, even those few who have been against me, I want to thank you for your patience. And we say, long live to the people of this country, and long live to Sierra Leone. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary General of the APC. We have had him. Of course, on where he ended, nobody is against anybody here. It is opinion we are making, it's your view we have expressed, and nobody is against any opinion we will make here. And it doesn't mean that any opinion made here is going to stand. We will listen and put all together. So we are not against anyone. and we are doing it for our country. So I move forward as we will listen to more position paper presentation. I will now ask those that also watch elections in this country to come and make their own position paper here. That is the National Election Watch.
What they discuss, let me know. Proportional representation, it's how like women were pregnant. It can even born first past the post. Yes. So let me understand that one day. What we begin make this versus this, it cause tension. And so we say, if we want election, now this country, one, if for the credible, electoral system, if they're not come to vote fine for nothing. Electoral system, if you take certain people that you say, hey, they're wires for me, they include them. Because what you see myself and people that they want sharp, they come out stay, not to election. Because what you do, all shades of opinion for a pass. If you conduct election, you don't make a level playing field, 17 registered political parties. They need to have access to clear information. Electoral system, if they're fundamentals, they not take now for nothing. And then the last one, I see people that they crumble where they talk. I want to make we nothing. From 1996, me and people 1996 come out. Because now the heart of the conflict, effectively day. So I can pull up come out. But every subsequent post-conflict election gets record of violence. The only thing where you can argue that the degree and variation different, all of them, all post-conflict elections. And so, a technical panel, participants' deliberation, voting by civil society leaders shows a huge appetite for first past the post. The first past the post voters stood at 57.9%. Now then inside the consultation and say, we in a first past the post we want. Followed by proposals for a mixed method electoral system. They want to say, now pull half here, now pull half here. Now look at the context, now design something. Then people then they will talk that one thing. Now 31.6%. The one that we're saying are PR. Now 10.5%. The justification advanced by participants in favor of the first past the post were as follows. They say easy for understand. It is easy to understand. They say when the citizen now we directly choose the representative. They say the most important thing we are able to verify the results in the constituency. In addition, citizen, and I want to make this clear, right? I want to make a public disclosure, in fact. Because of my background in democracy and citizens' participation, I am a proponent of PR. They all know that one. But citizens' understanding of the PR is based on what happened in 2023. Citizens' experience with the 2023 proportional representation system was that the high threshold, a lack of understanding and opacity of how members of parliament and councillors were selected in the first place and eventually won seats made the process difficult to understand and effectively eliminated chances for independent candidates and smaller political parties to participate in the allocation of seats. Furthermore, they stated the overreach and exclusive authority of political leaders to choose candidates. Closed party list, the lack of independent candidates winning MP or councillor seats, and citizens not knowing who their direct representatives are serve as major setbacks to participant acceptance of the PR for future elections. Participants also highlighted the dysfunctional board committees that is happening currently. They say after 2023, board committee died. And they say in all of this, developments are their focus. They mentioned that it is a barrier to transformative development following the 2023 elections. These participants believed that Sierra Leone is in dire need of transformative development, and the decision to choose leaders and pursue the tenets of accountability should rest with the citizens, not a few individuals within political parties. Citizens have therefore formed a perception about the proportional representation system based on their experience interacting with elections in 2023. For many, it was hastily introduced with little public knowledge of the system, and there was no public consultation before the reintroduction. Many believe the first past the post is the traditional system of grassroots representation, and the PR is too complex for local communities to understand, given the national level of percentage of illiteracy. However, participants in favor of the PR system notes with interest that they expect greater awareness. They say, no, tell people about PR more. Let them understand that. As there are various forms of PR which can be adapted to suit the country's context, and recommended the open list constituency-based PR, where citizens can identify and elect their representatives. There should also be a major consideration for a lower threshold or not threshold at all to ensure inclusion, as well as other alternatives such as a national threshold. A number of PR proponents believe in national threshold. Participants in favor of the mixed method electoral system will be then at the Ungo consult that in a distance. They propose an hybrid system that will create a level playing field for all political parties, including smaller parties and independent candidates. A mixed method approach, they argued, will promote inclusive governance where women, youth, and persons with disability will be fully represented. This group of participants therefore prefer a blend of the first past the post and PR system. It was 31% of them. They proposed that the first past the post should be used for presidential, mayoral, and chairperson and councillors election, and the PR for members of parliament. They further proposed a reduced threshold for winning a seat in parliament and a quota for marginalized groups. Conclusion: the civil society position on the preferred electoral system. Based on the proceedings of the two-day National Civil Society Dialogue, the following were the stances of civil society. 57.9 first past the post, proposals for mixed method at 1.6, and proportional representation 10.5%. Civil society believes that based on this information, the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice should design an electoral system that is simple enough for citizens to understand. Whatever type of electoral system is chosen, the rules of this system, such as thresholds, quotas, residency requirements, electoral zone or constituency boundaries, awarding of seats must be given equal and careful consideration. I take that up again. When choosing an electoral system for Sierra Leone, the following parameters should be given due consideration. 1, the threshold. 2, quotas. I mean, it has been legislated. you know, it's going to give that women should constitute a minimum of 30%. So we should not forget about that. Residency requirement. I think that the Paramount Chief mentioned that in his presentation exclusively, residency requirements. So people feel that those coming forward to represent them can represent the views of their communities, because they find out that a number of people are representing who are not domiciled in those communities, nor do they have a touch in those communities. So it's very important that residency requirements becomes a consideration. Electoral zone or constituency, that can factor in on residency requirement, because people feel they need to be represented, not just like a blanket of a group of people representing their political party and not citizens themselves. And lastly, the awarding of seats. How does votes translate to seats? We need to make that clear so a number of people can understand, so that they can follow the process. So all of this must be given equal consideration. Such a system should also ensure that the power to elect leaders rests with the citizens and not just a few in the political parties. It must provide for at least 30% minimum representation of women and other vulnerable groups, and be transparent and accountable enough, allowing electoral activities and outcomes to be verifiable. I take it up again. The system must be transparent enough, allowing electoral activities and outcomes to be verified. Additionally, elections results should be made acceptable by all. And finally, the electoral system alone is insufficient unless the broader environment within which it operates is also transformed. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Neil, for your position. Neil commented on the two systems. Of course, the broader one is the first past the post, but also the recommended issues on the PR. So we continue to receive more position papers. Can you please, sorry, I didn't receive here. Please, we are paper. Okay, so we continue. Now I have the pleasure to invite the West Africa Civil Society Forum representative to also come and make a position paper here. Are you here? You are all going to talk. I've said not necessarily going by order as in the agenda, but you are all going to talk.
Thank you very much. Honorable Ministers, members of the Tripartite Committee, political party present here, students, pupils, all other protocol duly observed. Let me, on behalf of the chairperson of WACSOF, who is unavailably absent, brief members here based on a consultation on the two systems with regards recommendation 78. 2 weeks ago, we visited the office of the Attorney General to engage him on this very important process with regards to the 80 recommendation of the Tripartite Committee. The first question we asked the Attorney General with regards to electoral reforms, are there any entrenched clauses that warrants referendum to look at electoral reforms? The answer was no. But there was going to be electoral reforms based on the recommendation. We also visited the chairperson of the tripartite steering committee, who doubles as the chief minister, to make our position at WACSOF very clear that as WACSOF will support an electoral system that is transparent, inclusive, cost-effective, and the will of the people. We also engage the advisor to the president for public sector and the head of public sector reform unit, Dr. Emmanuel Gaima, to inform me that WACSOF has started the process of consultation on 3 key issues in the recommendation. Recommendation 40, which we thought these are human rights issues. People have the right to assemble and to participate. Recommendation 78 and recommendation 79. Let me start with the electoral system. And I want Mami Balu to understand which are the talk now the villages, because this program is being streamed live. Now, if we look the 2 electoral systems the way we get, each one getting advantage, each one getting disadvantage. If we talk about election, where government for support and get independence and ensure that we own voices be heard, we forget a system, one, where for be very cost effective, where for be inclusive, and where for ensure say, and for be violence free. I serve in the Youth Commission Board, where I represented young people. The first past the post system have not given young people the opportunity for either go to parliament or for become councillors. I represented youth in that board pushing for the TRC recommendation of 10% quota until I do me 2 terms on that board will never achieve it. Because when they stand the election, man, you always get economic power, they defeat the youth. The same for the persons with disability. Except political parties, sorry for them. But the first past the post system, not don't give them the opportunity for let their voices be heard. What did the people that say will consult them? They say they want a system where in BC, government or the electoral commission, not for the get by election, were so violent. Somebody just asked me, say that honorable will die in Akenema if they don't replace her. I say yes, they don't replace her last week. Nobody don't know. I did speak them before go for by-election. You know me for easy. The violence, if I'm about school, if I'm about colleges, if I'm about business people, as we don't see by several by-election. But they are downside of the PR system. And let's note that. The people that want consult say, yes, even though they want PR system, but let there be an open list where people that go watch say, this name where he puts, if you not pull them, we'll not vote for you. I also want to commend Dr. Julius Spencer when I attend the expert panel on the presentation of the PR system. And I told the tripartite committee, use this man for go around the country. Maybe some people they not get the right orientation of a system that is inclusive, cost-effective, participatory, and giving opportunity to vulnerable people. The workshops have 18 thematic areas, if you must know. One of these thematic areas will make people get interested in this is political affairs, democracy, elections, and good governance. And we are going to hold that pillar very strongly, more so where we say the current president is the chairman of the ECOWAS Commission. We all know say workshop don't die, but we have resurrected workshop for ensure we get a free, fair, participatory, and transparent election process. I also want to make it very clear that in the consultation of civil society, most civil society groups were left out. And I brought this to ideas, and I want to make them understand this, that you know they support a single group, single consult civil society. It is wrong. I insist, it is wrong. We don't do that. You does not represent all of us. So ideas must understand that when you say civil society, there are diverse civil society groups. Have you supported people with disabilities to consult themselves? Have you supported university students? Have you supported young people to consult themselves? You cannot represent my view if I'm not part of the process. For those clear that one. Now, we want a review of the PR system. And what's not the review there? Let me take first past the post. If one get post to win a constituency, whether it is SLPPO, whether it is NGCO, whether it is UDM, and they represent you now. So as a district block system, if the quota are 8, shape the members of parliament and they according to zone and area. For say for instance, Western Rural, from Godrich to Oku Farm, now you, anybody want to talk to now, let's talk to you. The same for the local council. Shape them into areas. Say inside Gloucester, from this point to this point, if possible engage councillor for this locality, let engage this person. Another suggestion will come. Not to APC and SLPP no more than a salon. Not to the guy. Let's give other political parties the opportunity. Dr. Sandy City, there is my very good friend. The idea is that they will never dark in the walls of parliament for ensuring they pass it of great laws they pass in the parliament. Lower the threshold. Lower the threshold so that we will have the opportunity to participate. Mr. Moderator, also we want for push that in this system, the order of the list will be like this. First person youth, second person woman, third person with disability. So they will have the opportunity for go represent you in councils and in parliament. If you don't put that in the order, we will not appreciate. I repeat this, and this is very important. Because in the TRC recommendation, it was recommended to form the district youth committee. That committee will not transform into council. We are young people who learn politics. We are young people who participate in national governance. And a quota was recommended of 10%. So what we see in the system of the PR, young people, the name that they forgot first na the list. For ensuring they have the opportunity. Second, to with dynamic women them. And third, to person with disability. All other one, they can follow now. We want to ensure and want to make a very clear say, recommendation 40 should not be accepted. It should not. Why do you want to deregister political parties and not go to parliament? They have their people. 70, they have their people. Elect now 10 they get. Now the people don't believe in them. Their voices must be heard. I see this as a tactics to close up here. I see this as a tactics for silence their voices. I see this as a tactics where contravene the 1991 Constitution. Conclusion. The West Africa Civil Society Network supports the PR system with an amendment, as I don't talk them before, lower the threshold in a particular district, assign them according to zones and community, so that me where they all go farm for no say Dr. Spencer for talk to me honorable, me where they na Mambo for no say this person for talk to as council. Assign them by zones. You can do it. Ensure we get an open list, so people will scrutinize their list today. We don't want a system who say ECSL people defeat by election. If there is going to be a by-election at Kenema, the kind of for them be more like people they get a lower election. So the fete for them be under in their mock school, in their mock college, in their mock business people them. But that one they don't replace them very soon. Nobody don't know. Also want for comment Professor Joe Pemabi in his presentation. Coming event cast their shadows. Dr. Joe Pemabi. He talk and say the people that say pull Afia. Pull half commoner can make a better system. That after the pool, now the open list. So I'm going to say, if you push power in him, I say if you don't pull power in him and then they vote, pull up, and you want me vote, you pull up. When you vote on this is for those to emphasize, and just say if now Western area na 28 on a make Western area by zone. Where my sister na cover from here to yonder. Peter Thomas na cover from here to yonder. Maria Tukano na cover from here to yonder. So if they make laws in the parliament, I can engage you and give your own thoughts, give your own views, because members of parliament, before making laws, supposed to consult me so it can be people's representation and not their own self-representation. These are the issues to focus on good governance. Civil society does not monitor election. Civil society observes election. Civil society is not an opposition. Civil society does not work for the government, but civil society can work with the government for disseminate policies or for advocate for policy change. I want for us to be case, and I hope our inputs will be taken into consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Waxoff, for their position. We continue for listening more. But I hope say the one day when we're gonna use toilet or go up and then when I go come back, because una sent for make una valid contribution for this process. All right, now make a reminder. We go launch 2 hours when I come back. We'll not defy again for them to get una your inputs. Now I want for invite the Office of the National Security for MedSF can give their own presentation. So all man they come on board and they can talk. They play vital role per election process that they go through.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I think we get the opportunity now for code switch between English and Creole, if necessary, because previous speakers they will get a latitude for do so. So myself will follow suit. But before I go to the presentation, I want to say 3 things. The first is that the security sector of Sierra Leone is elitist, meaning they get people that will learn, what they say can do research, and once we will get the invitation for say we will make a statement on this occasion, we do an extensive research so that we will come out with an informed position for contributing to the debate. The second one is that security sector, we professional. And because we professional, anything we feel say we get for support national security in this country,
we serve the one for Falamakata. And the third point is, members of the security sector, na Sierra Leoneans, in as much as they are security sector operatives, themselves, they get the legal and moral obligation for me to contribute to anything, whether a national debate. So we're not going to let us take that down out of context. So on this occasion, I represent the National Security Coordinator, Mr. Abdullahi Kolka. We're not there today with we because of other official commitments. Me in deputy, I'm named Dr. Ahmed Sano. So he puts confidence in me, he reposed confidence in me, and he gave me the authority for me. I can read the position paper, where if I don't deliver, if ECSL been there. But I want to assure you and say, this position paper, what would they present? Although not the Office of National Security, whether it's gone, but not a security sector thing. Possibly the Office of National Security isn't at the limelight because we get the responsibility for coordinating the security sector, provide a platform from where we get a consensus of the issues, and we also promote security sector governance. So now that makes me to do that presentation. And so if that are the case, and they read the position paper, verbatim, with the National Security Coordinator, if I don't read, if himself been there. So let me recognize high-profile government officials that are here, our revolt paramount chiefs, our international partners, if any of them are around now, and the distinguished ladies and gentlemen of Sierra Leone. The transformation of Sierra Leone's security framework since 2002, epitomized by the creation of the Office of National Security, ONS, marks one of the most important achievements in our country's post-conflict governance. In line with its legal mandate, the ONS continues to play a key role in incorporating security issues into the wider governance system, offering strategic threat assessments and ensuring security sector management adheres to democratic principles, transparency, accountability, and proportionality. The ONS and the wider security sector are compelled to emphasize a fundamental truth. That is, governance and security are deeply interconnected. Electoral systems, though primarily tools for democratic expression, have significant implications for societal cohesion and national stability. While Sierra Leone has transcended a post-conflict status and now classified as a low-income country, because we are making this correction because we are the experts, and the often hear people that they talk say a post-conflict country, a fragile state. We are not. We're now out of that kind of description. We are a low-income state. We are a low-income country. So many we don't go beyond the post-conflict description. So while we have transcended a post-conflict status and now classified as a low-income country, our political landscape often reflects the potential for upheavals. Therefore, the adoption of a proportional representation, PR electoral system, presents the country with an opportunity not only to strengthen democracy, but also to enhance national cohesion and peace. In this regard, the Office of National Security, and by extension, the security sector of Sierra Leone, cannot dodge their moral responsibility to provide advice on matters that directly affect national stability. It is within this context that I present, on behalf of the National Security Coordinator and the security sector, this considered position recommending the adoption of the proportional representation system as a strategic imperative for Sierra Leone's peace, stability, and democratic consolidation. Sierra Leone's political history provides compelling evidence of security threats rooted in the system of governance that potentially excludes others. From independence through to the brutal civil war of the 1990s, our experience has been shaped by a first-past-the-post system that firmly established one-party rule, fostered grievances, and spread the seeds of violent conflict. The Leone Peace Accord of 1999 recognized this reality, supporting inclusivity and broad-based participation as essential pillars of sustainable peace. Regrettably, the return to the first-past-the-post in the early 2000s rekindled old divisions. Elections under this system repeatedly became high-stakes contests for total political control with predictable security repercussions, such as post-election crises, as has been mentioned in 2007, in 2018, and the unrest of 2023, which starkly illustrate the harmful impact of politics that excludes people. These cases reflect a systemic problem that proportional representation directly rectifies. By matching parliamentary seats more closely with the people's different views, proportional representation helps reduce the winner-takes-all mentality found in the first-past-the-post elections. Smaller parties and minorities
A place cannot produce poems. It can only not prevent them. And Freetown is good at that, for Freetown has its own sudden elegances. People are slow to leave it, quick to return. And there are others who come for a year or two and stay for a lifetime, sensing that they found a city